All right, you ready, man?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. What's up, Fight Bros podcast listeners? We're here on the 1st of September bringing you the 31st Fight Bros podcast MMA show. As always, I am Marcus Burks, and this is Albert Walters.
Hey. Happy to be here, guys. That just came out so weird. Walters.
Yeah.
Did that feel unnatural when it came out? It sounded unnatural. Yeah. Sorry, man. I was just laughing.
Oh, you're good,
that was
man.
Funny.
So I was sitting at work today, and I was sitting there thinking we wasn't going to have a good show. There really wasn't a whole lot to talk about. But, hey, man, that MMA world, big news comes at any time. But we won't get into that big news yet. But, yeah, so we pretty much got, our content to talk about literally, 2-3 hours ago.
Yeah.
But, let's go ahead and recap Anthony Smith versus Rayek. The card that just happened last Saturday.
A few days ago.
Yeah, and I didn't watch this one, man. I haven't been that faithful UFC fan the past 2 weekends. I went to watch this one, but I fell asleep. But when I woke up, I seen Rayek on top of Anthony Smith in the fifth round, and of what I seen in the highlights I watched, that's pretty much how the fight went.
Yeah,
it was pretty much pure domination by Rayek. He was an up and comer. He needed a guy to come make a name off of, and he got it with Anthony Smith. Rayek is definitely a problem in this light heavyweight division. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, that was I was looking forward to that main event and the co-main event too, Robbie Lawler versus Neil Magny. This is the one I slept the entirety through, and I was mad when I woke up and found out that I missed this one. Robbie Lawler versus Neil Magny. Neil Magny, a similar situation. Of what I've seen in the highlights I watched, pretty much dominated Robbie Lawler those 3 rounds. And that's tough, man, because, Robbie Lawler is one of those diehard, the diehard fans, we love Robbie Lawler. We like that. When we think of Robbie Lawler, we think of those fights he had with Rory McDonald. Yeah. That's over in Bellator now. We think of that. So it's tough to see these guys lose. It's tough to watch DC lose. Robbie Lawler, all these guys that pretty much made the UFC what it is. It's tough seeing these guys get old, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of sad seeing them, approach the end of their time.
Yeah.
In the UFC. Because everyone has a rise, and then everyone who has a rise always will have a fall. And so it's always heartbreaking to see that, because like you said, Robbie Lawler, he's got a fan base behind him. And so it's kind of sad to see him not just lose, but kind of get these dominated losses.
Yeah.
So it's something.
No, I was just messing with the volume.
Oh, okay.
I was just turning it down a little bit. But,
what was I doing?
Yeah, man. It was a little bit for me. But Anthony Smith, it's tough, man. I wanted to see him win this just because he literally was just challenging for the title against John Jones a year ago.
Yeah.
It was tough, man. He, definitely earned his way to that title shot. He's just had a tough go, man. I don't know if you remember, but he got his house got robbed. He woke up in the middle of the night. I think he said he left his garage door open on accident. Some drunk college student came in there and ended up giving him a fight for his life. He literally said it was the hardest fight of his life. Which the guy was a wrestler too. But that's still something traumatic, man. That would definitely make you a little paranoid. If something like that happened to you. So definitely, it sucks. Could those factors be weighing on his performance? The loss of John Jones, that happening, are we kind of seeing, I don't know, do you think he's still the same fighter, or do you think some of this is kind of weighing on him a little bit?
I don't think Anthony Smith's at the decline of his prime yet.
Yeah.
I think he's still the same fighter he was. I just think he's kind of just got stuff going on right now. I think it's all mental too. I don't want to see him at the end of his prime. He's a great fighter. So I don't know. Like I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's someone you have to worry about being gone.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I just think he's going through one of these rough patches that a lot of UFC fighters go through.
Yeah.
A lot of big names. I mean, you think about it, like Nate Diaz, for instance. He was in a number one contender fight against Josh Thompson, and then got beat by Benson Henderson and some stuff like that. But now he's back, back at this humongous name.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of UFC fighters kind of go through these rough patches and they get over them,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see it with a lot of guys, Woodley. He had some tough losses. DC, not really DC because he kind of lost towards the end of his career.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, but what you're saying is pretty normal. Is like a lot of people's win and losses have these.
This is like your learning
trends.
Experience, yeah. Like you don't really see a ton of guys, like Khabib just sit here and dominate their whole career.
Yeah.
Or John Jones, people like that. You don't really see them. A lot of these guys, you see their ups and downs, like GSP, he had his downfalls and then he came back and,
Yeah.
So I just think, Anthony Smith's kind of going through, one of those patches that you go through. But let's get into Robbie Lawler. What do you think? What do you think's next for Robbie Lawler? He's 38.
I think this guy's at the end, man. I think
this is four losses in a row too.
Yeah, and these are pretty dominated losses. That's the problem. Is with like we just said with Smith, is you have these trends in your career where for these great people, normally they've got their ups and their downs, but with these great people, their downs you end on a down for the most part. And I think that's where Robbie Lawler is. I'm sad to say it, but I think he's on the decline of his career. Yeah,
see, it kind of sucks because I know DC said something like this in the past. When you're good and you kind of see you're declining from that age, you don't want to sit there and let people make a name off of you. People that wouldn't have beat you a couple of years ago, So that's tough, man. Because I feel like these last people has made names off of him, Colby Covington, former teammates and stuff dominated him. Robbie didn't even throw a lot of punches in that fight. I don't know what was going on. Neil Magny, I believe he's number 9 or number 7 ranked welterweight. He's one of those two. Kind of made a name off Robbie. Not a big name, but he has that on his resume that he beat one of these legends to the sport.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If Robbie continues to fight, maybe a good fight for him would be Mike Perry. I think that would be good for both guys. Mike Perry coming off, he just got in some trouble and he's looking for a fight. I believe he completed his anger management training or whatever the UFC wanted him to do after that video went viral of him knocking that guy out at the bar. So that would kind of make sense for both guys. That would be a good one for Robbie to get back on track with.
Maybe.
I don't think he's done. I don't really know what to say he should do at this point in his career. I don't know, man. I guess it just depends on how much you love it,
Yeah. I mean, if you're like Cowboy, who cares if he just doesn't care about winning or losing. He just wants to be there. But yes, I don't know about Robbie. I don't know what's next for him.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's kind of hard to tell when you're on your decline.
Yeah. But let's get right into it, man. Before I knew what we was going to have to talk about on the podcast, I was like, dang, we ain't got nothing. Boom. Let's go. All according to Ariel Helwani, Dana White, Diaz and Masvidal 2. It's in the brick oven right now. It's cooking. It's coming soon, guys.
Yeah.
So Dana White has reported by TMZ first, but confirmed by Dana White. He has reported that Diaz and Masvidal, they're working for it to be the headliner of the pay-per-view in January. Both guys have been sent official contract offers, so all they're waiting is to both guys agree on that date. And, it's kind of sounded like it's a done deal. It's not really a rumor because ESPN's reporting it, Dana's confirming it and stuff. It's not really a rumor. And this is what we want. This is what a lot of people has wanted to see. I think you're talking about it's unfinished business. It didn't end. We didn't get that proper ending we wanted,
Yeah.
So what's kind of your thoughts on this, man?
Well, dude, obviously I'm stoked. Like, I was rooting for Masvidal last time. I'll root for him again.
Yeah.
I think this time we'll see Diaz come out a lot harder because I'm sure he's mad about the loss last time. Like, it was stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fun. No, like, nobody wants to be stopped by a doctor.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Like, you'd rather fight with both eyes shut because of swelling than have a doctor stop it. So it's like, I think we'll see Diaz come out a little harder, but I don't know. I still think it's gonna go to Masvidal.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, this is an awesome fight. Like, I read some of the comments, and some people were like, "It's not gonna be competitive. It's a fun fight, and this and that." I was like, literally, like, I went back and watched the fight over quarantine because ESPN had it. Arguably, Diaz won that third round. Arguably, and I don't remember what it was on
Masvidal. Like, if it would have went to the card, Masvidal still would have won.
Yeah, now I know what we pay attention to. As fans, we pay attention to that brutal head kick he gave Diaz in the first round.
Yeah,
I thought Diaz was knocked out. I thought it was over, but it wasn't. I mean, that's Diaz, man. You keep coming at him. He's not laying down. He's not going to get knocked out. He's
that definitely threw him though.
Yeah, and that definitely scared me. So yeah, definitely. And another thing I was thinking about in this fight, how Diaz said that his brother Nick wanted him to get that plastic surgery to get that scar tissue in the forehead and eye line. So I'm wondering if he did that because that's something I care about too. Because I believe getting busted open like he does every fight, like he said, it's just blood. It doesn't hurt. It's just blood. But getting busted open every fight, he literally gets busted open in like the first couple of minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not his fault. He just got all that scar tissue built up there, man. It's easy.
Yeah,
and I think that affects him because going back and rewatching that fight, he's sitting there trying to wipe the blood out of his eyes and still block punches and stuff. But it's still going to be a tough fight for Diaz. We seen that Masvidal was pretty dominant in those first 2 rounds. Masvidal was pretty dominant. As shown in the Usman fight, you have to withstand Masvidal's burst, But like we seen in the Usman fight, Masvidal gets tired. I know that he had a shorter camp, but he's one of those guys that kind of talks about staying ready. So I would assume, and then a lot of his teammates and stuff bragged that he had already been in a training camp, and he's staying ready. He was already in shape and stuff. We see what happens when Masvidal goes into those later rounds.
Yeah,
Usman withstood Masvidal's power in that first round. He held him. That's not what Diaz is going to do, though. We know what Diaz is going to do. We know what Masvidal wants to do. Diaz,
I don't think we'll get a holding match out of these two.
No, they're going to stand in the middle and throw. Now Masvidal mixes up a little bit more.
Yeah, he'll mix up. Like Diaz is mostly just hands only.
Hands only and a front kick every now and then.
But you're not going to see wrestling out of him. You're not going to see a lot of takedowns. He's just stand up.
He will do some dirty boxing. He'll hit you with some dirty boxing in the clinch.
Yeah, but stuff like that, you're going to see clinches. You're going to see punches. You're going to see a lot of squared off, going back and forth. That's how Diaz likes to fight. And same thing with Masvidal. So that's why I think these two are such a good fight, because not only is it a money fight, it's a good fight.
Yeah, and see what's crazy about this, man. Do you remember Dana White saying he was not interested in the rematch?
I remember
And
that.
I was like,
well, this isn't a BMF rematch, is it?
yeah, it is. The BMF belt's on the line again. Yeah.
Okay. So,
which, I mean, that's for show. That's for
that.
fans,
Yeah, I was gonna say that part's for money.
But arguably, Masvidal is the number 4 ranked welterweight, and Diaz is the number 7. So this is still
still a good qualifying fight.
This is still a good fight, and either guys with a win is pretty close to the title. Either guy. Arguably, if Masvidal wins, he could get a title shot right off. If Diaz wins, I don't think Diaz is really chasing titles. I'm not going to say at this point in his career, because I'm not saying like he's going downhill or anything like that, because he's not. But I just think he's a big name. He wants money fights. He wants to make money.
Yeah, doesn't care about the title.
And like Masvidal said, Masvidal was like, I'll take that McGregor fight over Usman because that makes more money. The Diaz fight makes more money. He made just as much money to fight Usman as he did Diaz, but they had to make it like that for him to do it. Yeah. You remember the first time he turned it down because they were paying him less.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is going to be a good one, man. I can't believe Dana didn't want to do the immediate rematch. How do you just leave something so popular? I mean, dude, we loved the idea of this fight. We wanted to go down to New York and, go watch this.
When was it? Was it December?
It was November.
November? Okay.
Yeah, it was November, beginning of November. Yep.
You're right.
I don't think I got the poster in here. I didn't get the poster for that one, but yeah. I love the idea of this. This totally just made my day when I heard about this, man. 2 guys that literally, as soon as I got that UFC 4 game, man, I was like, Diaz versus Masvidal in Kimbo Slice's backyard, and now we're pretty close to that rematch,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, the pizza's in the oven, man.
Well, it's going to be awesome, though. Like, what a night, man. We're going to get, either we'll be here or we'll go out and we'll have, like, pizza, wings, like, like, what a day, man.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this fight. It's going to be, maybe this time, too, what would make it so much better? We got a little bit of animosity between Nate Diaz and Masvidal now. So, are we going to, are Nate Diaz and Masvidal going to kind of have that same respect that they had to each other before? Because, these 2 guys are like guys that we like to hear trash talk. Mm-hmm. They don't usually bring it towards other people. They're usually, counter trash talkers. They're just responding to what people say. But, if we have a genuine beef between these guys this time, think of how awesome that would be, in terms of like, but don't get me wrong. I like how they respect each other. They should, they fight the same style. They like to go out there and fight. They don't go out there and hug and stuff. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. It's mixed martial arts, but these 2 guys respect each other's style.
Yeah.
So definitely going to be a good one to look forward to. UFC is really making some good fights to get us through, which this one would be the first pay-per-view of 2021, but UFC is really giving us some good pay-per-views to end out 2020 and, another good one to start 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm stoked for it. Well, moving on.
Well, we're still on that same.
What? Oh.
Yeah. But this isn't as exciting, but it's still exciting.
It's something. It's something. Okay. Well, scratch that. We can like wooka scratch like. Okay, so Usman and Gilbert Burns.
Yep.
Okay, so
this is confirmed.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is confirmed.
They've already signed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what's your thoughts? Okay, so mid-December we've got Usman and Burns. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I love it, man. I'm a diehard, though. So I respect these guys. I respect both of these guys. I gained so much respect for Kamaru Usman as a fighter because of what he did to Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
I was like, dag, he dominated him. Gilbert Burns did the same thing to Tyron Woodley. And I was like, dag. And look how I think Woodley's so good, man. I think he's so good at welterweight. And for them 2 guys to do that to him, I'm like, dang, but they kind of all fight similar. Like Gilbert Burns is a power guy, but he also clinches, he grapples. Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, they're so similar. So those three guys right there at the top of the division, they're so similar. So, we could be, I don't know what kind of fight we're going to get. We could get a bad fight because both guys know what each other is going to do. Yeah. We could get a Ngannou Derek Lewis, I hope not. But, yeah, man. But I'm excited about it because these two guys, they beat everyone in their path to get to where they are, and I respect that. Like, this might not be so popular with the casual fans, but I respect this fight because Kamaru Usman beat a ton of people to get that title shot against Woodley. Gilbert Burns, he literally, he's not a big name. This pay-per-view is not going to do big numbers.
No.
But I respect both of these guys because they did it the right way. They didn't have to build off their name or anything. They literally did it with the fighting. Yeah. The sport portion of this, they did it the right way. But, yeah, this fight, I don't think it's going to get the respect that it deserves financially. Dana might need to add some good co-main events. Maybe you got to get some of these bigger role player names on there that, as I'll say, maybe like Romero doesn't have a fight booked to get him on the co-main event. Get some of these big name role players and, beef up that card a little bit. Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson is floating around, needs a co-main event somewhere, maybe right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's kind of your thoughts on this fight?
I don't know. Like you said, I think this is one of those fights that have a lot of potential, but but also it could just be a boring fight, like Ngannou Lewis. Both people have produced great fights, but also when they come together, it doesn't mean they're going to make a great fight because, like you said, they both know what each other is capable of, and they have such a similar fighting style with their clinches and whatnot that I don't know. I could see it being a clinch fight, and you're just kind of like, oh, well,
yeah.
Playing thumb war because you're so bored.
Yeah.
Or it could just be like a knock it out of the park.
They could respect each other so much, like Kamaru Usman and Colby did, that they stand there and strike the whole time. Yeah. Two wrestlers and grapplers and clinchers stand there and throw hands.
Yeah, exactly. That could be the case, but I don't know. I kind of have my doubts sometimes with seeing the Usman Masvidal. It's like. I don't know. I think that trend will continue with Usman. I think he'll just want to clinch the whole time.
Yeah, a lot of foot stomps.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't see a whole lot. I don't predict this being like a fight where you're cheering and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but I don't really have a preference on who wins.
Yeah.
So.
But let's see. Moving on to some other big news that we recently received yesterday. To talk about today, Brock Lesnar. He is a free agent. He is no longer affiliated with WWE anymore. No longer under contract. Man, that's tight. There's a lot of employers that want to be in the Brock Lesnar business.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about some people that he might go to. AEW. AEW is professional wrestling, but it's WWE's competition on the USA Network. They have a lot of money to give. Their owner, I think his name's Amari Khan or something like that. His father's like one of the richest people in the world, and so he is getting big names on AEW because he has a lot of money to spend. So that's a possibility. Re-signing with WWE is a possibility, but why we're talking about it on the Fight Bros podcast is because UFC is one of the biggest rumors going around with Brock Lesnar right now. We have John Jones over here. He's beefing up. He's wanting to make that heavyweight debut. Why not make it against Brock Lesnar?
That would be a fight.
One of the biggest heavyweights in UFC history. And I mean biggest name. I mean biggest body.
Yeah, but I don't know. What a fight that would be for the names. However, I think Ngannou Jones would be a better fight.
But Ngannou has to get the title shot. That's why I didn't put Ngannou on here, because Ngannou has deserved the title shot against Stipe Miocic. Like, that has to happen next. You cannot deny Ngannou no more. He's too good of a fighter to only be fighting once a year because the division is so backed up.
Yeah.
Now that Daniel Cormier and Stipe, their 3 fights are done, we need to get that division moving. And Ngannou needs to fight more than, one time a year. He's young. We haven't even been able, UFC hasn't even been able to market him like he should be marketed, because he can't fight because the division is held up.
Yeah.
And, I know like Derek Lewis and a couple of people are wanting that rematch, but
they don't really deserve it.
Yeah, Ngannou has to get a title shot. And, but as far as like Lesnar Jones, Dana came out today and said that if both guys are interested, he's interested in making that fight happen. John Jones is already interested. Look at his Twitter. He's already calling out Brock Lesnar, saying he's not legit.
Yeah.
I love this, man. I loved that promo that John shot after he beat. He was like, what did he say? He said, Brock, you want to know what it's like to get beat? Get your butt beat by somebody 50 pounds less than you. He's like, come on. It wasn't the greatest promo.
Not bad. Not the worst. Yeah.
I liked Brock's promo, man. Talked about it last time. He was like, I watched the heavyweight disasters from the beginning.
Yeah.
Ngannou, you piece of crap. Miocic, the piece of crap. DC, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, but he's a WWE guy, so he knows how to, like, get fans' attention.
Yeah, and that's what's going to make this fight good, man.
Jones, I think if Jones beefs up and goes to heavyweight, then he should either... It would have to be... Sorry, it would either have to be Ngannou or Lesnar.
Yeah, and see, that's what I love, man. Jones, he's an entertaining guy just because of all the bad stuff that goes on with him involved around his name.
Yeah.
Lesnar, one of the biggest entertainers in sports entertainment. I think that fight makes so much sense. And because John doesn't need to get Ngannou first.
Yeah.
Ngannou's the top of that division. Miocic is the top of that division. Hey, let's make a big money fight and welcome John Jones to the heavyweight division with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
and look at this. A lot of casuals know Brock Lesnar. They know who he is. A lot of people that watch WWE, they know who he is. John Jones goes out there and beats him. You're getting a lot of new fans and being like, "Dag, he just took down the most indestructible person in WWE."
Yeah,
and I know that's scripted and stuff. But still, scripted. Brock Lesnar, you have to respect what he did in UFC. He beat Frank Mir. He beat Shane Carwin. He did some respectable things in UFC. So,
that would. I don't know, man. I think he's just kind of playing it up. I think because like we have, like, he's got the people interested in him is AEW, WWE, UFC, and Bellator, and I just think he's too old, man. Like,
so you think he's using
his? Yeah, I think he's using his name to be like, well, hey, like job offers almost. Like, hey, I got an offer from this company. If you do me some more than that, I'll come to you. And I think he might be playing that game.
But do you think he has no intentions of fighting combat again, that he's just doing this as a marketing aspect to get more money from professional wrestling companies?
I think most likely.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
he's as old as a DC, man. Mm-hmm. He's as old as most wrestlers are.
But he's the most...
in the UFC when they leave.
He's probably the most genetic, freakiest athlete that we've probably ever seen ever.
I think so, but if you look at some of his previous fights, he's gassed.
He's on some PEDs, man.
Well, yeah. No. Yeah. Well, yeah, like besides the PEDs, I'm talking about, like, if you look at his previous fights, he just looks gassed after a couple rounds. Like, he's so... And I mean, which is normal for the
he's just a
heavyweight.
wrestler, man. You watch his fights, when he throws punches, it looks awkward. It
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
a bodybuilder trying to hit a heavy bag. It
Yeah,
looks
absolutely.
very awkward. But
Yeah, so I just don't think he's actually going to go into the UFC.
John Jones, Brock Lesnar, no USADA.
No USADA?
Yeah.
Why would they do that? What a lawsuit.
They're both, got cracked for PEDs.
So they're not going to do that.
Let's just let them be on PEDs. Like, we're going to get the most jacked Brock Lesnar and the most jacked freaking John Jones that we seen in that second DC fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as a consolation,
I don't think we'll get it, man.
This is a consolation prize. Kind of Bellator, their president, Scott Croker, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He is wanting to book Lesnar versus Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor Emelianenko is probably, a lot of diehard fans probably know him a little bit more. But he used to run the heavyweight division around the world back in the day. He never got into the UFC. That's something that was never done. Dana White said one of his biggest mistakes was not booking Fedor Emelianenko versus Brock Lesnar. That's one that he let get away. So, hey, Scott Croker is trying to do that in Bellator. I personally don't think Bellator has enough money to offer Brock Lesnar. Now, he's all about the money. He's said that before. He's all about the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, he's older, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he will want to fight Jones. Jones is young. Jones is at his prime. Lesnar's older.
Hey, but I don't know, man.
So that's why I think Jones and Nagano would be a better fight.
Some of these old dudes is nice. Look at Glover Teixeira.
That's just not normal though. But if you look, that's what I'm saying though. If you look at Lesnar's older fights, he looks old. He looks gassed. He looks tired.
See, it's weird, man. Like in WWE, he'll come in, like some matches, he'll come in like tip-top shape, all ripped up, and then other matches, he's kind of coming in
chubby.
Yeah.
Well, because all that fat, all that muscle goes from fat.
That's what people don't understand about Brock Lesnar. He has to actually cut and diet to get to that 265.
Yeah.
If you haven't look at him in DC's kind of confrontation that they had after DC's title win against Stipe Miocic in the first fight. Brock Lesnar is humongous. DC is a giant heavyweight, not in tall stature, but in weight. Brock Lesnar makes him look like he is like 2 weight classes under him.
Yeah.
Is not looking like fat at all.
He's a big
video.
guy.
He's just a humongous dude.
Yeah. Like he's not short. He's massive. But that's just the thing. Like I don't think Lesnar will want Jones if he goes to the UFC. But that's the thing. I don't think he's going to go to the UFC anyways. I think the biggest money that's going to come to him will either be from WWE or AEW.
Yeah. I don't want to see him in AEW, man. Like, I just haven't been interested in that. Now, they got a couple of names. I've always said if they get my boy Enzo Amore, I'll watch it just because of him. But it just hasn't. The times I've watched it, man, it's like the production and stuff. It just don't look like they put as much money into it as WWE, and they always say they got more money than WWE and this and that. I just don't see it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get how like Dean Ambrose and a lot of these top WWE guys went over there because it's just not the same. Like WWE, at the end of the day, is the biggest professional wrestling company.
But I do think AEW is catching up.
I think
they're like climbing.
I respect Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes, for getting their own company started because definitely, you got to. It's good to have competition.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, WCW and WWF.
Oh, yeah.
That was big, man. So, and definitely you're talking AEW is actually on a big time cable channel.
Yeah.
They're on USA. When was the last time WWE had competition? TNA, and TNA was on Paramount Network that not a whole lot of people get. Like everybody pretty much, like if you have cable, you have USA.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. I think you get USA from an antenna.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can go buy a $40 antenna and get USA.
Yeah. So, like, that is, very, like, WWE's on Fox, big time.
Yeah.
So definitely it's the most competition they've had. I just don't think it's there yet.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll have to see what plays out with Brock, man. This is very interesting. It's brought a lot of excitement to the professional wrestling world and mixed martial arts world with us, creating all these possibilities and ideas in our head that probably won't happen. But
yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he'll go to the
now
UFC.
Kurt Angle. It's funny. A year ago today, Kurt Angle came out and said that the only fight that interests Brock Lesnar is John Jones, and that he says that Brock Lesnar would come out of retirement to fight John Jones. Yeah. So I would love to see it, man. I would
definitely love to see
WWE
it.
guy take down one of the most
biggest names
and just somebody I just don't like a whole lot just because of the PED things. I would like that. I don't like how John, got the recognition and credit for, knocking out DC and stuff when he was on PEDs. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see, somebody with somebody that's been popped for PEDs,
somebody who would make Lesnar would make a big John Jones still look small.
Yeah.
That's
and it would be tough, man. We don't see John get taken down a lot. And I don't know what you're going to do. On fight night, Brock Lesnar is going to be about probably 280 something.
Yeah.
Too close to 290, even though he's going to make 265. And then John's going to be sitting here not cutting at all, about 238.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the low end of that.
So.
Yeah, I mean, but he'll just have more stamina than Lesnar. That's my only concern with that.
Now we know. Yeah, I know how this fight would go. It'd be a lot of leg kicks from John.
Yep.
Targeting those calves, just keeping that distance, trying to keep his distance away from Brock. But I don't know, man. I want to see it. This is one of those fantasy fights I want to see, man. UFC.
It'd be cool.
They're booking what the fans want to see. I believe Dana respects what Brock did for the UFC back in the day.
Yeah.
I believe he would throw some money at him, man.
Yeah. Well, because, Lesnar was definitely someone who helped the UFC, get up to where they are now. So, it'd be cool to see him and Jones go at it.
Yeah. And see that. And getting into our next topic, I didn't mention DC versus Lesnar as a possibility. I don't think that fight has the popularity that it does anymore. But just kind of, I was telling you that's why I didn't list that as a possibility, because it doesn't have that
it's just not
anymore.
Like a year and a half ago, it would have been the thing to do, but not anymore.
But yeah, moving into our next topic, talking about DC a little bit. DC has taken his name out of the USADA testing pool. He's not getting drug tested anymore for the first time in I think he said 21 years or something. Mm-hmm. It's consistent. USADA pops up at random times, drug testing you, making sure you're staying clean and you're not peeing that hot stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So this kind of confirms it,
Mm-hmm.
He could still come back, but what is DC's 41, 42, I think. Brock's 43, but DC initially was supposed to retire when he was 40, so I think he's 41.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this pretty much confirms it, because if he did, get that itch and want to fight again, he'd have to wait 6 months. So there's another half a year that you're aging. And like he said, he only wants to fight for titles. He doesn't foresee at this point him getting any title shots. So I think he's done, man. And you know why? I think he's going to get the itch, but he's going to get that itch like we talked about last week, and WWE is going to scratch that itch for him.
Yeah. Like I don't think
WWE is going to be his back scratcher, man.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be doing much with the UFC other than commentating.
Yeah. No, he's a great commentator. He's set for life, man. He talked about this on his podcast with Ariel Helwani. He said that he has never got so much opportunities out of a loss. He said a week later he wouldn't name the companies. He's had all kinds of companies reaching out to him for opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't release what he was doing, but I guarantee WWE's one of them.
Oh, absolutely.
He's one of the biggest WWE fans. Triple H knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H knows he wouldn't be hard to train.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, like he's great with the microphone. He'd be wonderful at the WWE.
I think that's gonna fulfill his itch. I know he's a humongous competitor. You can tell by the way he takes losses and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there on a more minor level, but I definitely understand his competitive nature, and he's gonna get that itch again.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna fight because something else is gonna fulfill that itch,
well,
and I think it's gonna be WWE.
You saw it? Did they test WWE?
No.
I was going to say.
WWE does a little something, but, I mean, you have 78-year-old Vince McMahon out here with a six-pack and still jacked and buff.
Well, yeah. Why would they? It's all kind of planned.
Yeah.
So, like, it's almost
they
like...
popped Randy Orton for PEDs one time, and I was like, what the heck? Like, now, they need to start going away from that because, you know, people like Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, you know, that head damage mixed with some of those PEDs that they were taking, you know, caused them to get a little bit violent.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's just rumors. But, you know, a lot of guys in the past have in WWE have been on those PEDs.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, I think that's going to fulfill that itch for DC. He's still going to go down as one of the greatest, you know, UFC fighters ever. Not top 5 or anything, you know, but he's going to definitely be top 10. With what he's done, and you know, he did a lot for the sport, and people's gonna remember him, man, because he's a legend.
Yeah, so. Yeah, he's definitely one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So, but I think fighting in the UFC is not going to happen for him again.
Yeah, and I respect DC so much. I'm still a big fan of him. I can't wait to see what he does.
See what's next.
I hope it's WWE because I would love just to see him still like competing in some sense. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, moving on to Fight Night this week.
Yeah, so we got
nothing.
Not the greatest fight night. So we've had like 3 fight nights that haven't been like the greatest. We're not getting that real good fight night. I believe I can't remember who's headlining next week, but we're getting a pretty good one next week.
Really?
But we're getting the biggest headliner of them all on the 19th. That Woodley versus Covington. Please mark that on your calendar. That's one of the best ones. We're definitely going to get a guest. I don't know who yet, but we got to get a guest to do predictions with that one because that one, man, we got to have somebody to talk about that one with us on here. But
that's going to be a fun.
Yeah.
Then we'll make a plan to watch that night. Yeah. That's going to be awesome.
And so we got this UFC fight night coming up this Saturday is going to be Overeem versus Saki. That's who's headlining this one. The co-main event, we got Sierra Eubanks versus Carol Rosa. And then we got our boy Michael Piera, the always exciting, always entertaining Michael Piera versus Zalim and Madoff. You know, there's a lot of UFC fighters now that have that name Madoff. You know?
Yeah.
But let's get right into it, man. I don't really know who the guy he's fighting, but just wanted to bring it up because Michael Piera is so exciting, man. He gets out there, he does salsa dances, he does backflips, he tries to kick you on the ground while doing a backflip. I've never seen people do stuff like that.
No.
So definitely, you know, if you watch UFC this weekend, definitely give it a watch just because of him. You're going to see something exciting. It might just be him coming to the octagon dancing. That might be the excitement, but hey, man, it's still exciting.
It's it's definitely something with him. What do you?
But I'm going for Michael Piera. I mean, I don't know how good the other guy is, but Michael Piera, man.
Yeah, I just don't have an opinion on that.
I want him to actually land one of these things that he does. Now, he does those Anthony Pettis soccer kicks off the cage. He tries those a lot. He tries those backflips on a downed opponent. I want to see one of these things actually land.
Yeah, like his accuracy is pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Like when he fought the guy from Canada, he landed pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why
he tired himself out.
Yeah, he tired himself out. He didn't land anything. And that's why when it came to decision, the other guy won.
Yeah.
You know, the other guy didn't really do a lot to Pierre. However, what he threw landed, and that's what threw him over on the. That's what put him ahead on the scorecard.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Michael Pierre is more interested in a show than he is like the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, he threw what felt like 1,000 weird things and didn't land any.
It's cool, like, man, to watch.
It's
like,
cool.
I've never been
it's
so
cool
entertained by
it's
nobody
cool.
not landing anything.
Yeah. You're just like, yeah, like I'm not talking bad about it like that. Like it's so interesting, and you're like, oh my gosh, like just tripping. You're like, this is so cool.
Mm.
So,
and the only reason I put this next fight on there, I'm not really interested in it. I'm pretty sure like a lot of UFC fans, and I mean, I just talked about it because it's the co-main event. And I mean, nothing against them. They're just not humongous names yet. But you got Sierra Eubanks versus Carl Rosa. I don't know if our listeners remember. I talked to you about it before. At UFC 230, Sierra Eubanks versus, I can't remember who it was, that girl that was flyweight champion for a minute, but she didn't end up fighting and got stripped. They were supposed to fight each other over, and they were going to headline over Diaz and Poirier.
Yeah.
And that's why a big reason why Diaz and Poirier were like, nah, man, like, we're not co-main eventing to them just because they're not good. Like, it'd be different if they were co-main eventing to, like, Cyborg and Nunes or something.
Yeah.
But, just not
these
not that
no
big
names.
Yet.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm going to go Sierra Eubanks, but
I just, I don't have an opinion. Like, I don't.
Yeah. Just not.
I don't know either one. Yeah.
Just kind of talking about it since it's like the upcoming UFC fight. But this is the one I'm looking forward to. If you don't watch any other fight on the card, watch Overeem versus Saki. I'm a big Overeem fan. I always have been. And I'm really rooting for him. He said he's pushing for one last title shot. And I'm really rooting for him on this because I think he's got the skills, man. And his chin.
He's got a hard chin. Yeah.
Well, no, he usually has like a glass chin. But his last fight, dude, he took some shots from Walt Harris and overcame him. And, he's probably overall one of the best fighters in that heavyweight division. He would probably be one of the best if he didn't get caught. Like, he would be almost fighting he probably would have already fought for a title again if he wouldn't have got caught last second against Rosenstruck. You remember Rosenstruck, Overeem dominated him for all 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And then Rosenstruck lands this shot at the end, and Overeem got right back up, but the ref called it because it dropped him.
Yeah.
And I think the ref was kind of expecting, because of the past, how Overeem's got knocked, that he was expecting for him to get knocked again.
Yeah.
But, Saki, man, he's good. He's an up-and-comer. I just don't think his resume's there yet. He beat, I think his biggest victory is over Bagley Eganov. And you've seen Bagley Eganov fight a couple of times. You remember Derek Lewis fought him. And then Derek Lewis said you remember he got stabbed.
I was going to say, was he the guy who got
he got stabbed. So he's got that big scar on him. And that dude's good, man. And I think he's maybe like right in the top 10 or right outside. But, Overeem's fought all these guys, man. He's got so much experience. And what he's been doing lately is he's not really been focused on knocking out people. He's been like being more accurate. He's picking his shots and stuff. And, I really like what I've seen out of Overeem. And you know what I want to see, man? I want Overeem to win this fight because I want to see Derek Lewis versus Overeem. They've been kind of jawing at each other a little bit. It started, I think about a year ago. Overeem was on the Ariel Alani show, and he was making fun of Derek Lewis for his hot balls segment. And he was like, "I want some hot balls."
Yeah,
he was wanting him, and then Derek Lewis said that after his last knockout victory that he wanted Overeem. I like that fight, and I believe that fight gets both of them closer to the title shot where they want to be. And both of them can very well, I'm not going to say win a title, but both of them can compete with whoever the title challenger is at that time. Overeem already has the respect of Ngannou if Ngannou's the champion at that time. Ngannou was obviously a little hesitant of Derek Lewis's power, and Derek Lewis respected his power. You know, I don't think Stipe is going to be champion after Ngannou. I think Ngannou's,
You think Ngannou's going to win?
He's going to beat him bad.
Oh, I hope
I just think he's a different mindset, and he's had all this time to work on his wrestling. I don't see Stipe being able to take him down again. I think it's going to be scary, man. What we see coming up from Ngannou.
I hope not. That's why I'd rather Ngannou go through Jones.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him dominate Miocic. I want to see him dominate Jones. I just love Miocic so much, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a respectable guy, man.
Yeah, real good character right there. Yeah, I mean, if Overeem wins, I think he'll definitely get Lewis.
Yeah,
because
I think Lewis has a fight booked right now. But both guys will be. I don't know who Lewis has got to fight against, but both guys want each other. If they want that title shot, they're both going to be sitting up there at the top. If Overeem can win, but hey, the Saki guy, he might come out here and make a name off Overeem. So. Yeah. Definitely a good main event coming up this Saturday. But, give it a watch if you got some time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I guess that's it for the episode.
Yep, that wraps it up. Ended up being a good show when I thought we wasn't going to have a lot to talk about. But that's how the fight game goes, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And this is the Fight Bros Podcast, and we're out.
We're out.
Thanks, guys.
I like that, man. Yeah. We're out. See you guys.